All right, welcome back to Anime Savants, everyone. This week I am ChuChu.
Oh, this week I'm Gabby Morrow, baby.
Oh my god, I already know. Okay,
yeah,
we're gonna get into that later. Welcome back, but also, we asked y'all a question last time, and we did get your answers. It's not like we skipped the episode or something like that. We got your answers here. So the question was, what manga got you into manga or what spurred your interest, I believe.
Yep,
that's what it was. And so one of you on YouTube said Angel Sanctuary.
That's a special starting place.
Yes, and they apologized and said they were embarrassed for it. So Blue, I know you are. So yeah, interesting start, but I mean, we all gotta start somewhere. But
that's actually funny because I have friends who were not big anime watchers. They didn't know a lot in high school, but what got them into reading manga was mostly hentai.
I mean,
that was it. That was how they got into it. Then they sort of went vanilla.
I mean, before I saw actual manga, I saw Dragon Ball Z hentai.
Oh, that's interesting.
Out the wild. Oh my god, yeah, my friend, he printed out Dragon Ball Z porn of Bulma and brought that shit to 4th grade.
Bro,
it was fucking crazy. Little niggas was going crazy. It was crazy.
Low resolution fucking.
No, it wasn't no low resolution. That shit was high.
Okay, well, damn. All right.
It was crazy. He was like, "Come look in my backpack."
Oh shit! You knew it was on when niggas be able to look at my backpack about.
Go
anything.
Look at my backpack.
That's how you knew you about. If you were in 4th or 5th grade, that's how your ass is about to get either ruined for life or you about to grow up real quick. Someone said, "Come look at my backpack,"
and that's exactly what happened. But that was my first exposure to any kind of drawn format, and then I learned about manga later down the line. In addition to that. We have a very detailed answer from Benet Garces. So it's 2013, and I'm just getting caught up on the big three and Hunter x Hunter. I just spent the last 3 to 4 months binge watching One Piece, and I'm finally caught up, and we're in Dressrosa. We don't even know who the Tontata were yet. And I'm watching weekly vids of For Never World for Naruto and Bleach, and his latest thumbnail spoils Sabo's return. Mind you, 2 weeks ago, I'm watching him get blown to smithereens. So I did what anyone else would do, search One Piece manga and start reading. Once I caught up, I started reading everything else too. Magi, Toriko, Fairy Tail, JoJo's. Now I consume more manga / manhwa than I do anime.
That's what's up. I kind of feel the same way. Because I think that my intro... Though I saw manga before, but serially reading was probably One Piece. But it wasn't I was never somebody who was like, oh no, the spoilers. It was just a point of you get to a certain part of the anime and someone tells you, oh, the story is 3 years ahead.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna wait no goddamn 3 years. Let's go. So that's what's up. I feel bad that they got spoiled, but
yeah.
The internet giveth, the internet taketh away.
Yeah, after a while, depending on which groups you follow and what you interact with, you're gonna get spoiled. That's gonna happen. We also have one from Instagram. These were pretty lengthy, y'all. Thank you for the length, cause
I think we're tapping into some core memories here.
Yeah. These are pretty lengthy. My gateway manga was Bleach. I had just caught up to the anime in the Invade Hueco Mundo arc. It was when Ichigo and the others beat the former Espadas. And I just couldn't wait for the next episode, so I found the manga online. Didn't understand it, so I looked for a video on how to read manga and found out I had to read it backwards, and it's been a wrap since. I went to a big manga rabbit hole. I can relate to that, because I definitely, when I started reading Naruto, I was just like, what the fuck? This don't make no sense. Why is it doing like this? Da-da-da-da. And then my homeboy at school was like, nigga, you go this way to that way. You go that. You don't go this. It's Japanese. I'm like, oh. And then I was like, all right, let me start this shit over. Okay, now it all making sense. Here we go. But that's how I got into Shippuden before everybody was into Shippuden. Before it started airing.
Yeah, when you tell people back in the day, yo, Naruto's over, dog, but there's another one. And it's like the sequel. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what happened. Well, I mean, I said that on the last episode where like I had watched all of it up to Shippuden when it had just started airing on Cartoon Network and shit like that. And so niggas was just like, what? Like, what do you mean? It's like, nigga, it's Naruto Shippuden. They're like, what the fuck is Shippuden? Like, I'm watching that shit on Cartoon Network. And then the emergence of Crunchyroll and shit appeared.
Right.
So
Again, it may just be like my age and nostalgia, but there what really was something to that era where like you could know that something existed that nobody else knew.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there was something special about like, oh, I found this, or I discovered this, or I heard this through word of mouth. Obviously, that's not how you reach like mass market saturation that anime's got to today. But like it was much more. I guess it felt like personal. Like it's mine. I found it. I'm like the only one who knows about it. Like that was a different era, and it's also a feeling you probably don't get very much anymore. Maybe with manga, because they mentioned they read more manga and manhwa than they do anime. So I think that's kind of
we can load the questions up on manhwa.
Oh geez, yeah,
for sure. Because I have an extensively disgusting long list of BL manhwa under my belt. So like it's open season with that. As the Twitter space girls know. And if you follow me on Twitter during the BL spaces and you see me posting a whole bunch of smut, I have to give visual references to the people in the space. So I apologize if it's on your timeline, but it's usually every other Sunday, and that's if I remember it's happening. But yeah, we can do the manhwa, because I mean, you did your manhwa research and everything. So we definitely got the questions for that. Because there's definitely things that we haven't most likely found yet. So yeah, for sure.
That's what's up.
So what was yours, James?
So, like I said, it was most likely in like a regular serial way. It was One Piece, but I think that I was reading it not because I was a manga like lover at that point. I was reading because I was really into that series. I think what really got me to love the medium was Berserk. The more that I think about it, because I remember I had seen the Berserk TV on VHS.
Yeah.
You know, which I think holds up, by the way. Like it's still, I know the movies, the golden era movies have come out already, and outside of the first one, I think they're actually pretty good if you want to see like hybrid CGI. But watching the original was eye-opening, and then to find out, like I remember I was talking to a homie and he was like, "Oh, the TV series is actually the prequel, and it's missing the first major like story arc, which is in the manga." And I was like, hold on a minute, what? It did start at the beginning, so I think that's when I picked it up, just to read the elf queen little story that's sort of like where he meets like Puck and like all that other stuff. And when I was reading it, I was blown away, because at that point I had seen One Piece, I had seen Dragon Ball Z, I'd seen probably plenty of individual mangas that were of popular series, had not had that phenomenon where like, oh shit, this is like art. You know? Like I understood I was looking at something that was very special. So that's what really I think clued me into to just like, I binged it up to like I think the Castle Siege arc. Which hasn't been animated yet. And at that point I was like, I'm into manga now. So I was like, I actually like bought some of the tankobons, like the Japanese original. There was a Japanese bookstore that was near a university I used to hang out at, even though I was in high school. Just, you know, better food, all of this stuff after school. So it was like real easy to just like go across the street, spend maybe $15-20, come back with 3 to 4 books. I didn't know Japanese, but I was taking it in high school, so it was like, oh, I can treat it like homework. I can like translate some parts that I can read, because I wasn't very good at kana at that point.
Okay, so then next, let's get into the spring 2023 previews. But forewarning, just because we talk about it now does not mean we are covering it in the future. Y'all know how this works. There's too much. There's just too much. Also, if we missed your reply somewhere for the question of the week, let us know. We'll circle back around and cover it before the next question. And we have a new question at the end of the episode for this week. So, do you want to start with only new?
No, I think we can talk a little bit about the returns. I mean, things like One Piece never stopped, but this season we've got Demon Slayer coming back. Mm-hmm. So that's good, in general.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan, the final season.
And that's not even until the fall. So whatever they're doing, whatever
the fuck this is.
Yeah.
But Vinland Saga, I'm all about the rest of the season. When I saw that it was 24 episodes back at the beginning, I was like praise, because we're getting some of the coolest shit I think in the series. And anyone who's following the show right now kind of knows where we're at the halfway point of the season. We haven't really covered it on the show, but when people were worried, because they call this one like Farmland Saga, so it's like, there's not going to be as much action. It's just different action. That's all I'm saying. It's just different.
Okay.
Different stakes, different concepts, different ideas.
How many episodes is it going to be?
We're getting 24 total.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have the whole next score.
Nice.
Dr. Stone's coming back.
I'm excited.
I'm a big fan of Dr. Stone. I don't talk about it too much.
It's finished, right?
Yeah, it's done. Manga's done. So, but I really, really, really like
the trailer. Made it seem really exciting, especially because of I haven't watched the Ryusei special, because I know you're supposed to watch that in between season 2 and this. But the whole fact about whatever the stepdaddy left behind, and then all of a sudden, like, they're like, you're the ones that are responding. And I'm like, oh shit, like, it's actually like it wasn't just like a random phenomenon.
Right.
Like, what? So I'm looking forward to that season. Like,
I think the best part of Dr. Stone for me is all the intrigue around why things happen. I know that in season 2 it was so much kind of wrapped around the war arc and, like, very strong characters, which is great. No, absolutely no complaints about that. But the more the show and the story digs into the lore, effectively, is the more interested I get. So I've been looking forward for them to get to this part of the story for a while. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So I mean,
Isekai smartphone.
Yeah, I figured you were gonna.
Yeah, but I'm literally, this is the first season of it. I literally watched it just like one Saturday because there was nothing else that I wanted to watch, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just watch this shit because it was on the random anime site, and I was like, okay, I didn't watch this, and it aired and it's done, so I might as well watch it. I watched it. It is what it is. And I'm not really expecting anything revolutionary for the second season, but this is most likely to be something I probably won't even watch it this season. I'll probably watch it like on a plane ride or some shit like that, and be like, oh, I got a long ass plane ride, I'm gonna knock that shit out because there's no coverage of it anywhere. But I'm just surprised it got something now.
Yeah.
Mahosukai Yome, I will be watching this. I have 7 episodes left of the first season, so I need to finish those, which I can do that in like one day. But I will be watching that because it definitely seems interesting. I'll also be watching the Ousama ranking, like extra episode thing, the one-time extra episode thing.
So is it just one? Is that
it's just one episode.
Okay.
Yeah, because the manga it's a new collection of stories. Okay, so maybe it's a whole bunch of, it's so brand new stuff. Anyways, I'm watching it. It doesn't matter. I'm watching it. It's fucking Ousama ranking. Eden Zero. I'm excited for this.
I like Eden Zero.
Listen, he knows what he's doing. He's gonna do it again, and I'm gonna watch it, and that's okay.
It's weird because every time when Eden Zero started, with like a couple exceptions in like the first episode, I was like prepared to not be particularly interested in it because we haven't really talked a lot about it, but like I was a person who I'm like an observer of Fairy Tail, I'm an observer of Rave Master. Things I've seen over it's just existed. It's
Yeah.
always been like in the background of my own interest, but I
Yeah.
never hated any of it. So Eden Zero, I think, was the first time like I sat down. I think I got to like the first couple seasons of Fairy Tale, but it's like that was a long time ago. But it's the first time I really
Ooh.
like sat down to like give it the old college try. And I guess in a part of me wanted to like shit on it, like, oh, it's derivative. Oh, here's the same characters again. Oh my god! But when you start to watch Eden Zero, you figure out, oh, the formula for why this has always worked so well is because all the characters are earnest, but they're earnest right up to the level of being annoying, right? Like they don't go over the line. And
Yeah.
then you start to unironically root for your main cast because they
All the time.
yeah, all the time. And then it's like wacky shit happens, and it's not like there's a lot of gags, but they're not annoying. I guess it's the best way to say it. It's an inoffensive show at its core, and if it does some shonen stuff that's fun in the midst of that, great. Like it's not going to be super well animated. It's not like these amazing voice performances, but it always kind of just works out. And I feel that way about Eden Zero, where I was like, I kind of give a shit about a lot of this, especially when they did that time travel like mini arc in the first season. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. Oh shit!
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Well done with the girl and everything. So yeah, I mean, it's more the same. So I'm down. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch that. You're watching. I'm pretty sure you're watching Golden Kamui, The Return.
100%. 100%. I don't know what to say really to get more people interested in that show, because it does everything that you would want and breaks a lot of boundaries that are normally sort of enshrined in these types of, because it's like it's a weird mix of like it's a period piece, it's a food travel log, it's a action adventure series, it's more seinen than shonen because people just get run up and done up. Like there are real consequences in this world. It's pretty brutal. Main character gets fucking physically mangled all the time. It's a very well-paced mystery. There's a lot of dynamism in the cast. Like people who are allies become enemies, and they become allies. It keeps things fresh. And yet, if I go and try to if I make that pitch to someone, they're gonna be like, "Well, why should I watch this?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know. It's good." Shit. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's good, and I have every intention of watching it. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's just what it is. I don't even know if I'm waiting. It's over, right?
Yeah.
It's complete, yeah. So maybe I'm waiting for the anime to finish, and then I'll just start all over again. I know. Actually, I watched the first season up to the point where they got to her village. I'm pretty sure that's like episode 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's like episode 3-ish.
Yeah. So it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I was just like, damn, like that nigga went up against a bear? What the fuck?
That's actually really fun. Like the old hunter and the young hunter, and like that's just cool. Shit is fucking cool. But it is what it is.
And so most likely the biggest return for me is, and probably for you too, is Witch from Mercury, because
oh yes,
like what the fuck else? Like what the fuck else are we supposed to do but be excited for this?
Yeah,
and I feel like they were playing around in the trailer because they showed a lot of like character interactions and things like that. But I'm just like, okay, but all of this footage could be from like the first episode or 2.
Right.
And then it could just be absolute hell afterwards. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, I don't have words to describe how excited I am to have a top tier mecha anime airing. We got 2 cores out of it.
Speaking of mecha anime, did you see the trailer for the level 5 Megaton Musashi game that they're porting over here?
Yes.
That should look good. I actually will check that out.
That's what I'm saying. It is good. But the anime, I watched the first 2 episodes, and I really did enjoy the world building part of it and the kind of dystopia, because everybody in that underground area, they reveal in the first episode that like the world that you've been presented to is just sort of like a simulation.
Yeah,
in a sense, everyone's being mind controlled. So it's like, ooh, love it, dystopia. Giant robots. It's fun. But then when they actually got to like the what should be the meat of it, which is the actual like robotic like fighting. It was fine, but it felt like a little too much like a video game. Whereas like if I was like playing the game, I think I'd be really excited. I think like what they'd be doing in the game is a lot more fun.
Same. So
So
I am. Wait, well that doesn't even have anything to do with stuff that's coming up. But that was mecha. I feel like is that the only mecha we're getting with from Mercury?
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, well the Gridman movie's coming out, so
That's
that'll be
something.
something. But who knows when it's going to make its way over here? Okay, so new.
All right. Okay. So I think I want to talk about three series at the same time because I have a theory that has gone back to the last couple of seasons, which is for some reason, for the most part, whenever there's like a batch of like isekai series from like three second tier or from multiple second tier studios, I always feel like after watching the first couple episodes of each that they probably could have just all been one show and it would have been
Mm-hmm.
better. So I'm going to test that theory, though there's some caveats this season. First of all, is the isekai cheat skill. This when I was reading the blurb for it, I was like, huh, this is a pretty boilerplate and by the book. Then I was like, let me just give like the actual like trailer a chance.
The trailer looks
And
amazing.
yeah, the trailer actually looks pretty fucking good.
It looks
like
amazing.
yeah, and I don't know about like characterization, but what I do know is that when you do a series like this, where it's like, okay, main character is 100% audience insert, Gary Stu, he's all the girls love him. He's a super cool guy. He has every power in the universe. So you're
Powerful.
never gonna get a lot of tension out of the situations that he finds himself in. However, if you give that up, all you gotta do is take all the energy, creative energy you would have put in to try to create like highly tense action and combat scenarios, like
Mm-hmm.
that, like story wise, like we think, oh, the main character's in trouble, blah blah blah. That ain't gonna happen. But if you just put all of that into showing me really cool visuals all the time, just bombard my brain with a lot of stuff, you can get something that's pretty cool. And I think the character design is a step above what I would expect. The girls, which are a big draw for some people who
Yeah.
are into this stuff,
The
they
girls are
look
very detailed.
exactly right. So just I'm happy. I want them to roll with that. Don't try to don't try to pretend like there's much of a story here. Just go 100% rule of
If it sticks
cool.
to the action, I'll be happy because the trailer's action looked really good.
Yes.
Like I'm down for it. So
Yeah. So
stick
like
with the
no
action.
story, fuck the story, get that story the fuck out of here. I don't believe it. It ain't gonna be good. But whatever. Then second one was Isekai Shokan. That seems like it's trying to and did we mention the Konosuba? Uh
Oh, well
what do
that's
you,
kind of like a prequel. I
right.
guess it's not like a I guess yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
guess it's
So
returning. Yeah.
yeah, so but like it's
I'll be
kind of
watching that.
it's literally trying to sit in the more like lighthearted Konosuba spot.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what it's trying to do. I have no belief that I would ever have any interest in watching it as a show, but I bet you if like they can nail some kind of a comedy angle, then like as like a B or C tier show, that might be enough for some people who are like, oh, I like Konosuba and I can watch this. But when I specifically was like watching the trailer, I was like, okay, the the comedy aspect of what they're trying to do here is like one third of a good show. So then I
Mm.
was like, oh, okay, fine. What's the third one? There's another one that's
There's the one
running.
about the isekai guy. Is there one the isekai guy where they're killing the people like the death
Yeah, that's
rule?
right. Yes,
I
yes, yes.
forgot the name of that one. Let me find it real quick.
Um, fuck, what is the name of that one? But in any case, I was
Kaminaki. Oh wait, it's not. Oh no, it is isekai. Kaminaki Sekai no Kimisama Kamisama.
yeah,
Whatever. Working for God in a godless world.
yeah, and that one also did not look horrible.
It did it. You know what? Now that you have said all of these three back to back,
Yeah,
it makes sense that you thought that you would. Your theory it rings true
they're like
because
all one third. Like I bet you the
yeah,
Kami. Like I got the feeling the Kamidaki one. Like there's a little bit more of like a story there. But the
yes,
rest of the production was kind of just like middling. Anyway, I don't
But I
know.
feel like maybe it would be too much
Maybe.
if you were to, or it would need to be someone that can handle it well.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
like there's some dark there's comedy, there's a lot of comedy, but also there's like some experimental
yeah.
looking animation as well. So
Mm-hmm.
this one looked more like there was some deeper thought put into it. Uh but I bet you there are a lot of holes overall. So I have this thing where like there'll be a bunch of isekai shows. I'm like, maybe they all should just have been one show. You know, like somehow the best parts of each could be assembled to make it good. But I don't have high hopes for any of them individually.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. Mashal. Are you familiar with
Somehow
Mashal?
I'm very familiar and I don't want to say I want to eat crow on it,
Oh.
but when it first debuted in Jump, I think I got to it maybe like 10 chapters in and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Oh, I see what they're doing. This ain't going to last." And
It did last
it
though.
did. It absolutely did. In fact, it's one I think it's like usually like fourth or fifth in the Jump polls, which is really good,
Yeah.
you know, overall. Now, I personally don't have a ton of interest in this adaptation. That's not because I think it's bad. It's just
Mm-hmm.
because like I'm familiar with it. So it's like, yeah, this is
You already
not
know the formula.
yeah, I know the formula. Like, there's something about like wacky Harry Potter concept that for me is usually just very blah. Um, but if you're a fan of what they're clearly cribbing from, you'll be like, "Oh shit, this is hilarious!" Like like if you watch the trailer, they've got like their Quidditch game knockoff, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, obviously he would have a huge advantage here with all these unathletic like pieces of
Who are
shit
only
flying around
relying
on a
on
broom.
magic.
Yeah, like it's a sport. And I think a lot of what I've been told, so don't kill me if I get it wrong, but what I've been told is that despite the fact that it's kind of a gag manga, the action allegedly is cool. I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Well, I would
Um,
expect it to be so if he's about beating niggas down. I
but like
would.
I'm looking at the production quality, and that's my only thing is like it feels second rate,
Eh,
even though it shouldn't.
I'm maybe for now. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know. Um, my next one is Oshinoko. I am looking forward to this shit so much. Um, it looks like it's going to be dark as fuck. Like, and I remember when Rob came on, he gave us like a small like synopsis of it, and he praised it a lot because I believe he's read it or wherever it is right now. So I am looking forward to this because it looks like it's going to be a good messy time with like no romance, just drama. So I mean, it's also I just like the stark contrast because when I first saw this, I was like, oh, it's kind of like an idol show kind of thing. It's like it's an idol show, but it's also something else like crazy, like
Something weird. It's like
yeah,
Detective Conan, like
mm,
like right because like he's the guy's like trapped in the body of the child
yeah,
and it's not like, well, how the fuck did that happen? uh
retaining memories and shit like that. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we get to your big one, because that's what's up next. I'm gonna watch Yamada-kun at level 99
okay.
because it's a romance. I liked what I saw in the trailer production wise. I liked the contrast of the real world stuff and the MMO stuff and the comedy that was used in the trailer. So I'm gonna check it out because I mean I have to, like, people on my channel love romance shit, so like it is what it is. But I'll be checking out Yamada-kun. I have hopes for it, but I hope it's not just like her like thirsting after him and him slowly developing emotions. Which if it is that, I'll probably still watch it anyways. But whatever, we'll see. Okay, so
Woo!
it's finally here. What you've been waiting for. And I just have to say, the trailers looked so good. I didn't watch any of the trailers until this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't watch the first trailer nor the second one. So I waited until I did like my stuff for this episode, and I was like, all right, let me watch these trailers. That shit looked orgasmic. It
Yes.
was nice.
Yes.
It was nice. And the premise, very interested in that. But yeah, so is this a one core kind of story, or is this a like two?
Oh, it's longer. I mean,
Okay.
so the I forget how many it's somewhere between like 200 maybe 250 chapters.
Okay.
And it's done. And it's
but this is gonna take like several seasons.
Oh, definitely. So
okay.
There's a very natural cut point in the story.
Oh, okay.
Very, very, very natural. Where I think the first core is going to kind of stop on a certain cliffhanger. The second core, if assuming that it's planned out for this year or early next year, will sort of again end at a hard spot where, like, it's not quite a cliffhanger, but it's definitely something where you'll get a big change, and then everyone will be very excited to see sort of what comes after that. Now, the only challenge I would say, so let's talk a little bit about the treatment for this. So in Hell's Paradise, you've got a bunch of convicts who are basically shipped off to this, shipped off is a little too strong. Some volunteer, some are brought by magistrates to this island where allegedly there is a elixir of immortality. And other than that, you are given almost no other information about where they are, what this island actually is, and
the world building at all.
Yeah, you are given very, very, very little. The only context, I think, in episode 1, you do get to see. I mean, I'm guessing, given that's the way the manga was set up, you do get to see at least why Gabimaru is there. But you're very quickly informed by various perspectives on the story that you cannot believe almost anything that anybody tells you, whether it's a character talking to another character, even a character thinking to themselves, that there's a good chance that it's not accurate. So within that framework, you do have this good setup for good, opportunities for world building, mystery, and intense action at every scale. So like I'm not like gassing when I say, like, if you're a big fan of like Sword of the Stranger and that kind of like visceral one-on-one sort of shinobi sword fighting stuff, you get that. There are powers. I won't go into any more detail about what those powers are, but like there's a power system here that's really cool. Some of it's ninjutsu, some of it's sword stuff, some of it's other. The enemies are bizarre.
Good.
They're absolutely bizarre. And the main bad guys are all fucking creepy as shit. Even the ones that are, as you've seen from the trailer, human and maybe not so human. Shit's crazy. And then the scale and the variety of like the characters and everything else rapidly change from encounter to encounter. So I think it's a series that borrows from both Rurouni Kenshin, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer to some degree, Hunter. Like, you can see the influences all over the place, but each piece kind of, in my opinion, like fits into a cohesive and coherent like package where it feels original. Very quickly it feels original. Okay. And I love Gabimaru. Gabimaru is awesome. He's the first main character of what's effectively like a shonen action series who enters the series on minute 1 married. Like this isn't like 15-year-olds out here doing whatever. This is like this is some brutal shit. The stakes are real, and that's all I'm gonna say about the story. I just can't wait until we get to see the first episode in action.
Okay. Well, damn. I don't really know if there's much else for me. I will be looking at Pokemon just because I want to see the new stuff. I just want to see what's going on there. The trailer looked really nice for that. I guess other shows that stood out to me that I guess they're less so. Oh my God. No, what am I talking about? Heavenly Delusion. Heavenly Delusion. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that. I am very much so excited for that. I loved the trailer. Loved it. And the description. I love a good mystery, even though I still haven't watched Summertime Render. I
Oh man.
I love a good
Oh
mystery.
man.
I love a good mystery. So down for that. And that one also seems very bizarre. Like those like monsters chasing them around. And it also has like a little bit of like Promised Neverland where like the children are being raised in the compound. Yeah. But I feel like the children know they're being raised in the compound. Or not. I don't know.
There's creepy shit. Anytime it's like paradise inside, creepy shit outside, I'm into it.
Yeah. So definitely looking for that one. And then, okay, so I know that it's another fantasy isekai romance, blah 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 blah. The villainess is gonna die or whatever. But this one actually, like, why Raylena ended up at the Duke's mansion. So this one is an isekai, but someone actually kills her. Like, she's literally, like, just, like, you know, on the roof or whatever, having a break. And someone kills her, and she turns around, she sees the person's face. But she doesn't really have time to even, like, ruminate on that. Because she reincarnates in the game that she has played. But she also knows that she's going to be murdered in the game also. And so she's most likely she's trying to figure out, like, a way to, you know, do the isekai game shit. How can I make this shit livable for me, since this is my new life? But the trailer had such, like, it had some dark vibes to it that the other things didn't. Like the My Life as a Villainess, or whatever, the villainess tames the villain and shit like that. Those definitely had like more of a comedic like onset to them, and I didn't really get that with this one. This one was definitely more like story focused and like focusing on fucked up shit is happening to her, and like it's not just like happy slappy. I have like my friends coming along that are gonna help me. She's like, no, I'm dealing with this shit, and I have to deal with this shit. I don't want to die again. So that one stood out to me. I don't know if it's gonna stay standing out to me, but you know, we'll see. And then, okay, no, I was wrong. My Home Hero.
There could be something. There could be something there.
I see potential there.
There could be something there. I'm with you.
It depends though. It depends, because there are plenty of stories similar to this with, like, you know, the same kind of like drama style not murder mystery, but just like
it's like a survival.
Like thrown into the underworld, shit like that. But it caught my attention from the trailer. I do want to see the ride that the daddy's gonna go on, because it seems interesting.
I mean, it's gonna rest pretty strongly on the characters. If I'm into the characters, I'll be into the production, but we'll see.
Yeah. And then what else? I'm watching Skip to Loafer because it's a rom-com and it looks really sweet. And the one that I didn't even know existed until a few days ago, but I am absolutely the fuck on board for, is Magical Destroyers.
Interesting.
Listen, the show's premise is stupid. Like the trailer gives pure, like, we are here to fuck around. Like,
yes,
that's what we're here for. But the animation in that
trailer, that's what I was gonna say. There are some. This was like the one where I'm like, yo, the animation may be the reason I'm watching this and nothing else.
It was so crazy. I was like, why is this so, like, what was it? It was giving like Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
Panty and Stocking. Like, it was giving just like real outlandish, just like wild shit. I was like, I'm in. I will watch this. I will give this several episodes.
There's a ton of energy.
Yeah.
And I think that you know, small, and the cast seems pretty small too. So we'll see. I mean, like, I'm a fan of like goofier, well animated shows. I think like was it Isekai Uncle and whatever, like, just
did Isekai Uncle finish? Because I saw something about the final episode is going to be released soon.
Yeah, is it final one episode or two episodes? I know that it didn't really finish.
Jeez,
another series that kind of I have like fingers crossed on it, but I have no reason to have any belief, because it's from a studio I don't really know very well. Is that like what's it called? Like Death? Oh my god, it uses death in the name twice. What is it?
Oh, is it like the Death Game one, or it's the Necromancer guy?
Dead Mount Deathplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just sort of like, I was just scrolling, Okay, and I
I
just see
watched
it.
the trailer. I didn't read the synopsis. So what the fuck is happening?
So it seems like the villain, who's a like corpse god necromancer, gets defeated in his world, but then reborn or sent over to a regular world and reincarnates. But that's usually a good setup for like maybe more comedy, maybe more slice of life.
Yeah.
But instead, it seems like something is wrong in the regular world, and this is a much more serious, or at least seriously framed kind of rule of cool type series with a
Oh.
darker edge to it. But to me, kind of like what you were saying about a couple of series, like the animation is actually pretty good. Like, and I mean that from also a design point of view. Like, there's a
Yeah.
real effort in this to like do a lot with like framing and
Yes.
character design
I mean,
and
it
like
definitely did a lot with like the movement of the camera and just like rotoscoping and shit like in that trailer. I was like, this is a lot.
right.
Like you're trying to make it seem grandiose.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like there's a lot of, again, it's a lot more dynamic, a lot more energy to a lot of stuff, and it looks like a more traditional action series with a slightly darker tone to it. I saw no comedy, so that's what I'm saying is
yeah,
like
I didn't get any hint of that at all.
yeah,
Yeah.
the approach that they're taking with it is just like trying to be cool. So I'm willing to give it a shot, given that there seems to be a little bit of creativity thrown in, but I don't really have a reason beyond the visual. Like if you just said, "Here's the story," do I want to know more about this? The answer is no. I don't care. But visually, I'm into it. So we'll see. So it's a reverse isekai.
Okay. All right. That's it for me.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we other than yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we both privately were like, take a look at marginal service, but that's just to figure out what the
That's for
fuck it
shits
is.
and giggles, to be
Yeah, like what is
honest.
this?
Yeah,
Um,
that's just interest.
one thing that's funny is that the two isekai series that I mentioned that both I think visually had a lot going on, the cheat skill and the death play,
Mm-hmm.
both are produced by studios that in the past were doing like um what's the right way to say it? Uh in some cases like questionable ass shit,
Porn.
but for some reason it looks better. So like the studio behind Isekai Cheat Skill, I think is the same studio that produced I'm a Spider, So What?
Oh,
But
but they
also
did Copcraft.
yeah, but also Berserk TV. So it's like
Oh.
that's what I'm saying is like, there's some energy and effort here, but I'm sort of I don't know how this is gonna go. Like we'll see. And like Geek Toys, which is behind Dead Mount, doesn't really have like I would say like a
Oh
stellar
yeah,
track record. They did
yeah.
Plunderer, which I really hated how it looked. Like I read it has a manga which I ran across first, which is it's like a not
Oh.
like an average manga became a below average TV series. And then if you like look at the rest of it, it's like Date Alive and not much else. So like it could go either way. And by the way, the dead mount is two cores.
Yeah, I just see that. I saw
So
that right now. I was about to say.
there like when you see two core series, that means that the production committee got a major investment, a major
Yeah.
one. And I'm like, okay, that could either mean they're really gonna stick their foot in it, or these motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they're doing, and whatever the height of the
Well,
series could get, it's lower.
well, they did Ningen Fushin, and that wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
that was fine, and I think
Yeah.
maybe that's more the source material than anything. I don't know. Um. So anyway,
Wait, is this Bullet one? Wait, is this Death Play one? Is it an original?
I think it is.
Oh
Don't
no, it's a manga.
Is it a manga?
Okay. Yeah, it's a manga.
So like I said, they've taken average material and made it worse, and then they've taken some like a light novel and made it a little bit better. So we'll see. I don't know. But they're spending that Disney money, so I guess
Wait,
that's
who
a
got
thing.
Disney money?
They got yeah. This is like partial. Disney's part of the production.
Oh wow. Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see how that goes.
it's the whole thing. Yeah, so that's it. I ain't got nothing else.
Okay. So then let's move on to the wrap ups for the
Yes.
season. I mean, you can wrap up Blue Lock. I done been spoiled out the ass. for about the last few. I haven't been spoiled by everything, but I definitely got spoiled that the niggas lost again.
Yep.
And they picked Isagi.
Yep.
And then they also met the next antagonists in the final episode.
Yep.
Not surprised. Not surprised. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more there that I could be spoiled on, but overall, what were your thoughts on it? Just like, as a whole, from the two cores, and compared to like other sports anime.
So I'm gonna give Blue Lock a B+. I think that at a lot of levels, it was doing things. It lived inside of its means. I say that as like a compliment because I did not read any of the manga until like maybe almost to the end of the season. I just got curious about a variety of things. So just because, for example, I'd seen like one like page or something of like manga. I was like, oh, I see why they're doing the eye thing. Like that's definitely the style. But I think like it wrapped up the whole season. We met a lot of characters. They were for the most part very interesting. Almost everything that they introduced from like a character dynamic played out in a soccer match. The idea, the concept of breaking down soccer to its very fundamental elements as both a plot device and a teaching tool for the audience, I think is clever. And it, for the most part, worked out, even though by the back half of this first season, niggas were going Super Saiyan, which is fine. I think I appreciate how grounded like the most of the show
had
still
to take it up a notch though. Like they couldn't just basically be like, I'm a juke your ass nigga and that's it.
Nah, I mean like again, when you got motherfuckers like I can outrun my own kick, I'm like, all right, stop. Please stop.
I loved it though.
like stop in a don't stop kind of way. Like y'all doing too much, but it's fine. And that they kind of had that if you were a Kuroko no Basuke person, there are so many elements that are borrowed from that I can tell that it eventually turned a lot of people onto the show, which is very good. Because I think if you remember the trajectory, we watched the first few episodes. We were pretty into it. We thought it was cool.
A lot of people weren't into it,
but a lot of people were not watching that.
Yeah,
shit.
A lot of people were not checking that shit out.
It was real dry out here for Blue Lock, and that whole first arc with the guy who betrayed them and everything else, like that was good for what it was, but it wasn't like turning up the hype meter. By the end of the season, I was seeing like people posting GIFs and clips of motherfuckers' eyes glowing and flying all over the place and hitting crazy shots and still images.
And that's when it came in.
Right, exactly. So that's why I give it like a B+, because there were definitely areas of the production that were not like, these were not S tier components. They did a lot with CGI to like cover up the fact that they weren't able to animate very well. By the end of the season, you could tell like the budget definitely got blown somewhere in the middle, and they had to like spend large parts of episodes saving money. So you got a lot of like still images, backstories, not a lot of animation, just moving lips and shit. Like, like I get it. And so that's what kind of for me keeps it out of that prestige anime tier, where like a show like Haikyuu had it all. It had the music, it had the animation, it had the strong characters, the great story, and it was pretty consistent all the way through. You know what I mean? Like it was you could get to any point in Haikyuu, you could see the creativity of the budget. Blue Lock, it was like, half on, half off. But it was a lot of fun and it was cool. So I liked it. I want more. I want them to do all the world stage stuff, which is coming up, and it seems awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, I don't know what world stage is, but I will find out.
Yes.
Soon. What else is there? Oh, did you finish High Card?
I did not finish High Card. I'm about 2 episodes shy of finishing. But one thing I want to say about what I have seen is that it's super underrated. I would put it in like, I would say like I give it a B. Because also there are areas where they're like saving money and stuff, and like that that's fine. But I think High Card is very, very underrated this season. I think it had some of the best like overall ambient scoring and music, like that really vibed out. I think the when they got to the real story, like not just getting everybody getting to know each other, but like, okay, what's going on in the underworld? Where the cards come from? I think there's a lot of mystery and intrigue there, and it didn't really do what I thought it was going to do, which is like a lot of like one-shot serialized stuff. There was a consistent plot, and there was development for most of the characters and everything else. So I think that it was a B, and I would want more if they produce any more. But it was certainly like not at the top of my list for the season.
Okay. What else is there? Mononogatari?
I did not finish as well. Again, I'm about an episode back. Really like it as well. I think again, maybe like B-. I get the animation quality is kind of deliberately there's no point where like it falls off a cliff at all, like off model crazy shit, but like it never quite gets to the point of like visual wow factor that I think to compete with some of these other higher budget series. But I actually I'm not a big like romance guy. Like I watched a little bit of Tomo-chan,
okay,
and I'm like and I'm happy with it when it's there. But like if you're gonna stick romance into a shonen
battler,
yeah, right, like this is the way to do it, where you actually find everybody very, very endearing. It's not cringe, which it absolutely could be. Whenever you have like the straight-laced guy doesn't know how to talk to girls trope, it could just that part to me could fly off the rails. I think that I'm still very interested in the core story about the murder of the main
siblings
and stuff. But they've introduced this like layers of depth to the world that they live in, where it's not just like, oh, Ayakashi show up, you gotta kill him, and then you go to the next episode, more Ayakashi show up, you gotta kill him. Like you start to really feel bad for people who are kind of stuck in this situation that of the world that they present. So I would give it a B-. It was fun, but it wasn't like groundbreaking or anything.
Okay. Then I guess for me, I would say Tomo was great. Absolutely loved it. Would not say it's like some of the like one of the best like romances I've ever seen. It definitely was really fucking good. But it also didn't have that much competition this season. Also on the drama side, I felt like the drama that it did was interesting, but I feel like the comedy in the show was so strong that it just always got overshadowed by the comedic beats, which isn't a bad thing. But overall, I didn't even know that it had finished, so I was right. So I didn't know that they were omakes. That's why when I saw it on that like one place, I was like, "There's like 900 chapters." It was because it was like one page, but like now they like re-released it in more like volumes and things like that. So it makes more sense that way. But yeah, the story's done. It's over. And honestly, not mad at it, because I was getting so frustrated with the male lead. I can't even fucking tell you, man.
Because he's a dummy.
He's not a dummy. He's just emotionally immature, and he basically puts all the onus of him not owning his feelings, or not him like even like processing his feelings, on everyone else. So everyone else is running circles around him trying to please him while he's trying to figure shit out. And then once he does figure shit out, thankfully, they're all kind of just like, bitch, it's too late. Like, what is this? Of course it has a happy ending kind of shit like that, but they do hit the beats. It was very satisfying to me because no one just got away scot-free with their fuck shit. Like, even my favorite character, Misuzu, she even admitted, she was like, I felt like I tried to manipulate you in a way, because I thought that was the right thing for you, but clearly you should have just kept being yourself, and you guys probably would have been dating like way sooner, which there's no way to confirm or deny that now, because it's over. They didn't like continue it on and be like, now we're gonna cover their dating life, it's gonna be drama, because that wouldn't really work anymore, because the gag between those two is so clear cut that it's over, it's done. So I don't even know what I would give that. I would give Tomo.
You can do whatever you want.
I liked it. Yeah, I'm not gonna give it a rating. And then Nagatoro-san was an exponential improvement over the first season. My God, it was so good. It was so good. The character development that they did with this season was great. And I mean, the show definitely evolved from her like doing like the nagging and things like that to diving into more of like their specific personality traits that and their like insecurities and things like that. And also it went into them being awkward around each other, around dating each other. Like both of them were making efforts to definitely let the other person know, like, I like you, but I'm not gonna come out and say it, but I'm gonna make an effort to do this because, like, you know, it's clearly both of their first relationship and most likely gonna be both their high school like sweethearts for life kind of thing. But it is all so entertaining. The supplementary cast got more expansion and new characters. There's a character that got added in like the last 3 episodes that stole the fucking show. Like, absolutely stole the show. Nana Mizuki's character had big old titties and a bun and a tight biker suit. Literally, she had a biker suit and her titties, like, it was open from here to here. Like, it was like right over the nipple. But that character is in college now, so I'm like, you can do what you want to do, girl. It's your body. But yeah, very, very pleased with that season. Like, and I said it on my channel so much. I was just like, I would have dropped this shit after the first episode, or I was planning to drop it after the first episode of the first season. I was like, I can see why people would be into this, but this just doesn't seem like my kind of thing. And people were like, no, you have to stick with it. It gets so much better. It gets really, really good. Just like, please, please, please keep going. And now I see why they said that, and I am so glad I stuck around with it because it is good. Like, it is worth it. Or, I mean, if you're into romance, I would say it's worth it. If you're not into romance or you're like a newcomer, this is not the thing to start with, like, at all. Like, don't touch it. But yeah, really good. Damn, did I watch anything else this season? Oh, I haven't finished Saitou and I haven't finished Campfire Cooking. Those are things on the docket. But
cool.
You know.
So we can talk, I guess, about the 2 other series that we were both watching that were more story driven. That would be on one end Kaina and the other end Beasts of Ours.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about them. Yeah, I finished them.
Beasts of Ours is kind of easy for me. I want to be very positive about it, but I would have to probably give it like a C+ overall. Yes. And I think the reason is not actually anything that happened in the show. It's that, so I finished it, and the way I don't know if you've seen the last episode, but like
I have.
Okay, so tell me, just tell me if I'm like losing my mind. So did it not feel like the last 2 episodes should have been like 5 episodes?
Yes.
Because like a lot of shit happened. Like a whole lot. Like we find out that like the Securian technology is the same stuff that allowed all the cloning to happen, which then they made a decision that since she came from a clone pod that's like that Kumi is a Securian, and then she gets adopted, so she finally has a family, but then they tell her like, yeah, go through the process, you get rid of your powers, and it's a giant fucking egg, and then you gotta like touch the egg, and everybody's like, you know, she's wearing like a fucking wedding dress, and then the nigga's like, oh shit, we're getting attacked by monsters, but you gotta get rid of your powers, and and if you stop in the middle, you'll die or whatever. And then so there's that. Then that other nigga like who had like he was brainwashed, and then he kind of got unbrainwashed,
and then re-brainwashed.
And then he got re-brainwashed. And then the lady from the first town who we all knew was a
cleric.
A cleric
came back out of nowhere.
Just pops out of the fucking earth. Right, with the flower basket to like give them a power up so they can go back to fighting, and then one shot the
Sensu Bean.
Yeah, Sensu Bean has like a conversation with the old nigga who was just going ham too, but then like decides to let himself get killed, or maybe didn't get killed. I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't get killed. He got stabbed in the back.
He gets stabbed, and then she fires a black Kamehameha wave, and then
falls
to die
out.
And then
she was alive at the end. She was still there.
But you know what I mean? I'm saying as I'm watching it, I'm just like, what the fuck? And then like literally an Evangelion angel pops out that's like shitting out like snake monsters and stuff into the place, and some of them are out of it. And I'm like, that's too much. It's too much. Stop it.
But I loved.
But it was fine.
I took it for what it was because I recognized the signs like 3 or 4 episodes before where I was like, there's not enough time.
There is not
and
enough.
You have not even gotten close to finishing this world building.
No.
Like,
and they set up. So, and then we're not even talking about the new characters that they threw at us from the Empire side.
Yes. Like, oh my god, yeah, all those generals
who are like fucking cool, and you're like, oh, I want to know more about them, but like literally they get one scene and they don't even really do anything. You just see the guy standing on top of like the side of a building after he took out a monster. We don't know anything about what's going on.
The girls like, I killed all the chapos.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? You killed the who? And then we didn't even talk about that shit. The cat chapo aged up into a cute girl. What the fuck?
I mean, it's anime. I'm not really surprised by that.
I love how everybody was just like, oh, I guess that happened. And then
I was just like, I'm not
like, oh shit, she's hot. It's like, oh my god, what is going on?
I don't think she was hot. I was just like, okay, your appearance matches your knowledge of the situation now. Overall, like I kind of just gave up.
Yes.
The last 2 episodes, I was like, I'm too deep to drop it right now.
Yeah.
So we might as well just fucking get it over with. When she pulled her hand off the damn ritual shit, and I'm like, you just threw out all this shit that we just went through to get there, and they kept talking in circles about the ring, and they like they let them niggas take the ring.
Did it even play a role in the last fight?
Kumi's the master,
I guess.
Of what?
I don't know.
And then, like, the thing is, I want more, because those last, like, few seconds where the fucking spaceship shows up.
A spaceship comes out of the atmosphere.
I'm like, wait, what are we doing? Like, you should have given us that shit. Like, but I immediately went and searched for second season, and I didn't see anything. And so this is probably going to be one of the... No, it actually won't, because Raku no Yusha, I want another season.
Yeah,
like, I want that. That was good.
By the way, that was fucking infuriating.
Yes.
I don't need to... Like, I don't want to go back to that place in my life where I was like... got to the end of Raku no Yusha, and I was like, okay, where's season 2? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. So we need that. With this, if there's a second season, I'll be like, I'm immediately in, because now I'm at the point where I need to know what the fuck is going on. Right. Is the cat chapo the final chapo that ever
and what
existed?
Is a chapo? Someone
what are they?
Me what is going on?
Oh wait, hold on. And then that bitch can teleport. Yeah. Where the fuck could you teleport? Like, okay.
Can I? All right.
Also, what is his name? The hasty.
The which guy?
The Therian trope. The beastie. The furry.
Or whatever.
Milan. He should have died. He should have been dead.
Fuck yeah.
He should have been dead.
I thought that's what they were setting up.
Yes. When he kept going back out, I was like, oh, they're gonna kill him off. Like, he's gonna die.
I was ready for it. I was like, let's go. Like, not that I hate his character or anything, but like that would be a nice kind of like emotional thing to get people like, fired up. But okay, so we're all over the place because the ending of this series is all over the place.
All over the place, go.
But here's the thing. The reason why I don't hate this show, despite how messy everything kind of got the last 3 or 4 episodes.
Yes, it was.
But the reason I don't hate it is because it did something that most shows that have this problem of like a lack of focus and being rushed generally don't do, which is have a genuinely interesting and well-built, understandable world, and character relationships that you actually give a fuck about. A lot of times when like things are rushed, the victim of that is you just stop caring about what's going on because you're like, well, I don't get it. It's not that interesting. They're missing all these details. I don't give a fuck. It is like the inverse situation here where it's like, yeah, there's actually
so much more.
There's a lot of interesting shit happening here. It's not even terribly presented at all. Like it's weird and a lot of it feels kind of original, or at least it's not like.
And also, the general girl was badass.
Yeah, right.
She was badass.
I thought she was gonna have like a what do you call it? Like a that she was turned in some way by like the Empire because we go through all that.
Yeah.
We go through all that stuff earlier where it's like she's getting like mind destroyed and can't remember shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is like the Empire trying to do something or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That did not apply here. She was pure good guy. So I was like, all right, cool. But I actually want to know more. I want to watch more. I want more.
There's an epitaph because the prime minister had it.
Yes.
So there's some kind of prophecy or shit that he was reading off, and we didn't hear about that.
Something like he was like, oh, that's just the first stage.
It's the first stage. Yeah, he was at the very top of the page, and I'm just like, okay, so
there's so much they did all this really high quality world building. I like basically every character. Like it's a season that needed to be like maybe like 20 episodes.
It needed to be 2 cores. Right. If this were the midway point, I would be perfectly fine.
I'm just saying, like, if you took everything just what they gave us, and let's say we're gonna begin and end on the same beats, it probably needed like maybe 7 or 8 more episodes somewhere in between to stretch out and really dive into a lot of the concepts that they brought up. Or maybe
combine some of those older episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If the meat of what's going on is not like the journey across the plains, like if it's just if the real detailed stuff was the Empire's plots, the history of the world,
the gods,
and then a lot of like the lost memories that different characters have, and the gods, all this stuff. Maybe, as you say, we could have shrunk the first half to give the last half a lot of like leg room to like just explain what the fuck is going on. Also, the only big problem I'll say the show always had is that it has way too many characters that seemingly know what's up, but never explain anything. No, like I could take 1 or 2, maybe the old guy, the swordsman.
Yeah,
and like somebody from the Empire, and like have those 2 characters be like the mysterious,
like them looking on or discussing it with someone else. So right. Like we know, but maybe like Kumi and Homeboy don't know still.
Everybody in this series is like that. Every single character.
Yeah,
but they all know what's going on. But for some reason, we get, and I'm the last person to complain about like exposition dumping. Nobody says anything. It's all these like half sentences, like, man, that could be terrible, and then it's like, cut away, like, what? What is it? What's happening? Like,
we just never get it.
Yeah. So I have to like reluctantly give it like a C+. But it's not because I didn't even like it. It deserves
that, though. Yeah, it deserves that, though.
Yeah, it's just...
It left us ass out at the very end.
Yes. Too many pieces missing for no good reason.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that one. Ending made no sense. But Kaina, very different. Kaina, very, very different for me. I gave... In my own head, I gave Kaina like an A-. I think
Okay, so... I saw someone say that Kaina is in the same universe as Knights of Sidonia and Blame. That because the Toa Heavy Industries is from Blame, isn't it?
It is, but I would be careful with that because the manga likes to like reuse names of things, but not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that.
Okay, so I think like a running theory is that like because Knights of Sidonia abandoned Earth,
right?
And so some people are thinking this is the abandoned Earth, and the people are left behind. But we can save the trailer talk for later. But yeah, so I listen. The last thing I expected was for somebody to end this fucking series with a hole in their head.
Well,
that I was not expecting.
Well,
I was like, wow.
What you gonna do, man?
Wow. We did that? Like, no trying to talk him into being a better person. No, nothing. Kill the nigga.
Get that motherfucker out of here.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
No question. I like that the bark cutter. So we'll talk.
Oh my god!
So we can talk a little bit about the way in which this is such a tightly written story.
Yeah.
And that's why it's kind of in the A- range, because like some people may not care for the visual style, some people may not necessarily care for the weirdness of the
The
world
premise and
and the
stuff.
premise.
Yeah.
But this show is remarkably consistent. So for example, when you get to the end of what was the payoff? Every important thing had a payoff. So at the beginning of the series, we see the bark cutter. They go out of their way to tell us that, like, but
Don't
talking to
turn it up all
Kaina,
the way.
don't turn it up all the way. Conserve, blah 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 blah. The audience knows now that, like, he always has this option available to him, but he just doesn't understand. So they
Yes.
allow that character to have his moment and seem like it's not like that. Like clever. He has a laser and he turns the laser up to 11 and then he shoots the bad guy. But the thing is, the character had to figure that out because he doesn't know what any of that shit is.
Yeah.
So when it happens, and it happens in, like, the kind of way you'd expect. The girl is down, the bad guy is about to kill everybody, kind of comes in like a hero, and then just puts a hole in that nigga. And that shot of, like, him shooting the worker, like, big red death laser.
Yes.
Number one, it looked great.
It was so cool. It was so cool.
Number two, if you are a fan of Blame, this is like such a killy moment with, like, the wave distortion beam and shit. Like, it looks like it could be straight out of Blame. Even with, like, the fact that the color coding for everything is like white, gray, and red, bright red. Like, that's like that's Blame. Right there, just with the color palette inverted to be more white than black. So, like,
okay.
It's got all the right hallmarks for, like, the artist. The effects looked awesome in 3D. So I would say, like, that choice of visual style made a big fucking difference. I liked how, we knew from the beginning that Amalothy was gonna be, on the edge. She's not like she was gonna be the one who turned. We're gonna see her again. She was too cool.
Yeah.
And as you would expect, she kind of lets the captain of the guards go and has a change of heart. But it's clear that her trajectory was just based on the fact that she was hopeless. That's what it wasn't, because she was an evil person. She'll do what she's got to do, no question.
Yeah.
But she just was like, well, I already watched. Every kingdom that we've come across has got destroyed. Mine got destroyed. The best I can do is just go with the flow. Because what's the point? And
who can contest this?
Who can contest it? So, like, her turnaround made sense because she was wavering before. The kids and all the other stuff in the Valgia, they had already set all the seeds for, like, the people not really being behind what was going on. Like, there was the uprising, and it wasn't like cheesy. It was just like they came out, they had enough, and so now you can sort of, we talked about this the last time we discussed the show, but, like, putting that anchor thing on Valgia gives you a big floating ship that can cross that abandoned zone. So we're perfectly set up for all that to happen. Amalothy has to stay. She'll be like the captain or whatever, right? A big joint effort. So it's cool. I love how the series wrapped up. The lore was good. We got a visual callback to basically everything from the first 3 episodes.
I like how they did the final bits of the final episode where it was like a quick epilogue, like wrap it up. When they went and got the old people from the fucking canopy, I was like, bitch, what?
I was like, thank you, though.
Wow.
I thought that was great.
I did too. But okay, so, like, onto the trailer. So what did you notice from the trailer?
I actually did not watch the trailer.
You didn't watch the trailer?
I deliberately didn't do it. Deliberately didn't do it. But I
saw the trailer before I saw the final episode. And I was like,
okay.
Yeah, because I was like, because it was during that anime event that was happening, and, like, I saw it on Twitter, and they were like, Kaina movie, and I was like, movie? I was like, what the fuck you mean a movie? And I was like, oh shit, it's continuing. And I just watched that shit immediately.
I knew that the trailer dropped. I did not. I deliberately did not watch it because when something is, like, super short, because I think it's, like, less than a minute, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. It's like less than a minute.
Like, it's really, really short. So, like, I was like, okay, I can, if there's, like, content here, it'll be, like, super spoilery. And at that point, when I saw it drop, I had not watched the final episode. So I was like, okay, let me just wait until I watch it.
I went deep on that shit. I was like, let me go watch this episode.
Then I
this
just fucking forgot. I did see some like still images from it that had like robotic stuff. So I think we're getting mecha if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we're getting some mecha.
Yeah, I think we're getting mecha.
We're definitely heading down a road that was not previously teased to us with all the promotional material.
Yeah, I think that's
I'll give you that much.
I think from what I've seen, like me, I want answers. That's really what I'm like.
And we got a lot.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I was gonna say like that's one thing they delivered on that I would say the Beast of Ours did not. It's not a lot of cryptic shit that's just hanging around. We got a lot of answers.
Yeah.
Sequentially over the whole show. So now I have even more questions about cool stuff that we could get. So.
And we should get a lot of it.
Okay.
Was that everything between the two of us?
I mean, it seems that way.
Yeah. Here, I have live chart open. Let me go backwards. I mean, it's kind of bad if I watch something and I can't really remember it right now. I didn't mention it. Oh, so there's a lot of stuff that I do. There's a lot of stuff from this past season that I will be going back and I will be bringing up. I definitely want to watch the magical lesbians isekai thing.
Magical lesbian.
I mean, that's just what I called it. I'm not the reincarnated princess and the genius young lady, because I saw some fight scenes from that and they were getting down. So, and like the first thing is supposed to be comedy. I'm going to go back and watch Reborn and Master the Blade. I stopped watching that because the production company like put out copyright claims on my channel, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna leave it alone. Leave it alone. And I was recording it for my channel, so I was like, if I'm gonna come back to it, but I'm still post that shit. Y'all, I'm just gonna wait for them to like fuck off. But that Ningen Fushin definitely. I actually want to watch the 30 Slow Life in my 30s, chilling in my 30s. Gotcha. I think a lot of stuff here that I'm not covering on my channel, I want to come back and watch on just like a casual basis, because I feel like there were a lot of like casual shows that are good for like to filling the time, like in between seasons or something, being like, oh, okay, there's not really much this season, maybe I can catch up on something, or oh, there's like a little bit of a lull. Because sometimes I remember, as far as like all of my past anime watching, is like the summer season is usually the slowest season. Like summer, we usually don't get a shit ton of bangers. Like there's good stuff, but there's not like the excessive amount of just like stuff that we get from like fall, winter, and then for spring is like hit or miss. So these are definitely things I want to go back on, because my God, the shit that I've heard about Don Machi, bitch.
Yeah, that's the one. I have got to get over myself and my irritation with season 3. I feel like I have to get over it.
In the like we've talked about this before about like what you wanted. And I feel like everything that you wanted is exactly this fourth season.
You're totally you're on it, because I've
like,
heard the same thing from other
them
people.
niggas are in the dungeon, like and it's
Oh, that was the part I loved the most from season 1.
Yeah.
And I hear you 100%. Everybody I've talked to says the same thing. So that's a me thing. We've talked about Bungo Stray Dogs.
Yeah. Which I mean, that promotional material for season 5 looked good. That looked good.
I'll tell you right now.
I love it when that nigga wraps his power around himself and makes a fucking suit. I'm like, that's just one of I just like the shonen aspect of it. I can't really speak on the other stuff. So I still got to get to I got to finish season 3 to get to season 4.
I mean, despite everything it sounds like I've said about that series, I have a more positive feeling about it now than I did before I did the rewatch. So it's not like I'm not like more negative on it. It's more like I keep running into things that make it just easy for me to stop watching. But it's not because it's bad at all. It's just like, okay, what you're asking me to do or invest in isn't what I want to invest in. But that's not because there's anything wrong with it. So I may just skim, because season 2 is this like flashback season for the most part. So I may just like skim through the rest of it, because I'm on episode 4, because it seems like a lot of the cool stuff that I see clipped everywhere is from like season 3. So it's like, all right, I'm ready to go back in. Danmachi, it's the same fucking problem. Just like this fucking beast people season.
Did you finish
killing
up
me.
Trigun?
Oh yeah. I was gonna get to that right afterwards. Just say that like if I had one
okay, but what about
recommendation.
Revenger?
Revenger I did not finish,
Trigun.
but if I were just judged by how much I've watched, I still have a couple episodes left. I would give this one like a solid B or a B plus. The only thing that I would just say real quick about why it's not higher up, because it's got really good animation, it's got interesting characters, it's got a like refreshing kind of design for the world and some pretty decent world building. Action's good. The one weakness I really think that would have helped it a lot is like a really more memorable score. The soundtrack is not bad, but there's a lot of times where you just forget that it's there. And if it had sort of had like one of those like very unique music, I think that it would just stick out a lot more. That's the one weakness I think. There's some absolutely just straight cool shit. So give it a B. But I'm not done with it yet.
Okay. All right, so Trigun. What happened?
Trigun is like,
and there's more coming, right?
Absolutely. It's a total like reimagining. There was an interview with the manga. I don't know why I always forget his name when I have to like think of it, but he basically was thanking the fans for the success that the series had. And one of the things he brought up, he was like, it's not necessarily a remake. It's not necessarily like a new story. He used this phrase, which it doesn't translate. I know what he's trying to get at, but the English translation of it is not like super clear. What he's trying to say is that like this is a Trigun experience for today. So anybody who's like coming to it, they're getting. It's still everything is Trigun, but it's not your Trigun. It's a new Trigun. And I felt the same way watching it, where it's like it's like you took all the pieces of the original story and you didn't like, it wasn't about adding or subtracting, it was about moving them around, you know, like to create a different kind of experience. But the fact of the matter is still largely the same. So I would say that if there's one show, if you've like watched a bunch of shit this season and you're like, oh man, I need something to just like quickly have a palate cleanser and you got a couple hours, I would actually just recommend going and watching this current season of Trigun. You may be very pleasantly surprised if you know the series, that maybe you don't know the series as well as you did from watching this. And then if you are new to it, there is no barrier of entry. There's no like you don't need to know anything. And it's one of a handful of 3D animated television series anime series that really, it feels like could only have been made now. Whereas a lot of the other ones, they're trying to be like traditional, animation, just with this different look. So that's where I'm at.
What else is there now?
I think, okay, so we could talk about the, our question, I think, for next week.
Oh, yeah. Well, then we already know what that's going to be. What 2023... Oh, wait, well, what spring of 2023 animes are you looking forward to? And also, which ones from 2023 winter surprised you?
Right.
How about that? Sprinkle that on top of it.
Right. I like that. No, I think that's a good one. I know that we've pretty much laid out here the stuff that we really enjoyed from last season, the stuff that we're looking at for this season. Especially if anybody out there is like really into the comedy, if I had to watch one of the comedy series that they're putting forward this coming season, give me the recommendation of what I should watch, because I'm gonna suffer through a lot of bad comedy to get to
I'm never gonna, you can't watch Konosuba, because I feel like there are gonna be a whole bunch of like teaser things in it that niggas who watch the original are gonna laugh their asses off at.
I'm gonna be like, this is not funny.
You'll be like, I don't understand why you niggas are laughing.
I'm not trying to like get on anybody's nerves here, all right? Just like, if I should watch it, then tell me I should watch it. That
isekai one might surprise you. I mean, it's an isekai harem, but like that one might surprise you, and you might be like, I actually fucks with it.
Oh, I did want to say, I am interested in like the Villainess series, because I've never actually watched or read any of those like manhwas, and there's so many of them of like
Oh,
I
the
was reborn
Villainess.
into the game as a villainess and I gotta do this or that.
I like them.
Yeah, I need a gateway drug for that.
But this one is definitely different from all the other ones that have been popular and recently aired, because those all are work rom-coms in addition to the isekai, and this one does not have comedy is not a prime component of it. So
Yeah, no, I hear you.
it'll be definitely something
Okay.
to see.
So I do have a recommendation this week.
Okay.
I kind of came across it late, so others may be aware. Um, but it's a manhwa called Superhuman Era, and it's got a lot of chapters. I think it's like somewhere in like the 130s, and currently
Okay.
currently on hiatus. But the premise is that there are creatures that have started to come out of the ocean, which are they call them inhumans, and they're like monstrous, and they're like just attacking people, killing people, but it's very haphazard. So they show up, maybe one or two will show up in different parts of the world, and as far as anybody knows, all of the inhumans that have ever showed up have been defeated, and the ones who've done the defeating are superhumans, which are people who just popped out of nowhere that all seem to have like crazy powers of some kind.
Yeah.
Um, our main character is a superhuman who is pretending to live a very normal high school life, but he also has a second character of what they call like white cap, where he goes out with like a mask and like a baseball cap on, and he's sort of like one of the two superhumans who are in all of Korea. And
Okay.
he shows up to stop another inhuman, only to be confronted by the first superhuman he's ever met, who may be out to kill him. It's not clear. And that's sort of
Oh.
like the setup for, the
Is it
story.
like battle royale esque?
So, without spoiling, the
Yeah.
actual storyline for anyone else, the structure of it is really much more traditional. I wouldn't really call it like, it's more of like a traditional superhero comic with a lot of intrigue and, the kind of thing you would expect from maybe some shonen tropes. That said, the reason why I never really got into it was that I'd seen like the first chapter, and if
Mm-hmm.
you read the first chapter and many subsequent ones, it has a very specific art style where when the characters are not engaged in like some drama or action that requires like the faces and bodies to be a little bit more realistic, like it kind of like bounces all over the place between hyper deformed chibi stuff to what
Oh.
I would actually call like almost grotesque, like grappler baki, like very cartoon proportions of bodies and
Really?
muscles. So for example, in the very first, I think it's the first or second chapter, when you see Whitecap fighting a superhuman, which is like kind of like this one is like a fish monster. It is disgusting. Like the muscles and the proportions of like the calves to the thighs to the stomach are horrific and bulging and veins everywhere. The other human characters are often like distended. Their faces are drawn in ways that are just they're not meant to be aesthetically pleasing. They're just sort of, everyone's kind of a little bit like gross or super deformed. And so like when I kept seeing it, I was like, I don't really know if I'm like into this art style. Like, does the art style ever change? But when they get into fights, bruh, to see like someone's fist go into another person's face. I'm not talking about punched in the face. I'm talking about embed your
Shows
fist
the
in the
like.
center. Yes, and not kill. Like it's gruesome. The main character like grabs the nigga by the inside of his palate and then flips over his head and slams him straight down through like
Wait.
three layers of
Oh.
concrete. Like the shit is disgusting. When guys get killed, they are pummeled to death, body parts flayed, blood everywhere. Imagine dissecting like a full-grown animal with your hands, and you see like all kinds of crazy shit. So then I was like, oh, this is kind of baller. Like I see the juxtaposition of like the more comedic slice of life visual style with this hyper violence. Like everything is like
there's a gap.
Yes, and everything is like gross. And then as you get more and more of the Inhumans showing up that have wildly horrific proportions, strange chimeric like creatures, long like snake necks attached to human bodies but with thorns instead of hair and whatever, and then like some truly alien looking antagonists. And there's even like characters now that are showing up that look like they could be in Guyver, like just really, really, really unsettling proportion design. So that got me hooked like visually. But as the series progresses, the development of the power system becomes a lot of fun, to the point where my favorite characters in the series aren't even like the main cast, because there's like one character who is literally a living menhir, which is what the Stonehenge rocks are, and like her abilities scale incredibly. And I will just say this: she is one of the deliberately least attractive like design of a character, purposefully. But my God, I want her in every fucking frame doing all kinds of crazy shit, because like the hype level that this shit can get to is outrageous. They've got their like All Might clone, but they have two All Might clones, and one is a woman who's like the power transformation. She could have been a main character of another series. And that's actually the main point I want to get to without going to any more of the story, is that they do something in Superhuman Era, which is just a lost art in shonen, which is give all the supporting cast a shit ton of feats, whether they're villains or heroes or anything in between. Everybody actually gets to do shit, and then right when you want to see them culminate, they pull it right back. So you always get the feeling that there's a little bit more that you can get out of like any particular character. I'm not sick of anybody yet, and they have a pretty big cast going like that many episodes, that many chapters rather. So Superhuman Era is like really getting it's got me excited for the return, because I think the author is sick.
Okay.
And I'll have another recommendation next week about something else that is somewhat related. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun reading that.
Okay. My recommendation is Ryza 3. It's literally Xenoblade Atelier.
Oh shit.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh shit.
It's ridiculous.
Damn.
Let me reel that back, because Xenoblade is a lot.
Xenoblade is a lot.
That is a lot.
Which Xenoblade? Is it Xenoblade X? Is it Xenoblade Chronicles? Is it Xenoblade
it's Xenoblade? It's Xenoblade X's map. So people basically are equating it to Xenoblade because you have literally the map of the entirety of the first game. They added a section to that map that's almost like a completely. It's like, it looks like it's smaller on the map, but then when you go to the section, you're like, bitch, this is just as big as like the original map. And then you have 3 other completely different like continents / areas to go to that are just as big as the first map. It's huge. It's huge. But I recommend it because if you've played the series, you don't have to, but you know, if you do choose to play it, or you can just watch the prologue movie that they have that comes with it. I just think it's a really great it's just a really great showcase of character growth throughout the years, because the protagonists, they all started when they were like all like tweens, mid-teens, and they're adults now.
That's cool.
And so part of the story is them literally talking and like comparing where they were in the first game and like where they are now, and the storylines, because in the first game, one of the main characters' father was abusive as fuck, and like one of his goals was to get away from him. And so over the course of the first and the second game, he is away from him, and the third game is his return back to the original town. And of course, he's getting into it with the father. So like that is, and he's not even a main character. Like he's a supplementary character. And then you have other characters going on. Then you have the like parallel world where apparently we just learned that dragons are born in Rise's world, and then they go to the parallel world to wreak havoc. And then when they're done, they're like, "All right, let's go back here. We gonna die and be old."
Damn.
So it's like, what the fuck? Kind of, who does that shit? But so the story itself is actually getting like intriguing because it's dealing with more things as opposed to being like, let's go explore these ruins. It's more so of it's getting on the level of Full Metal Alchemist, not like the level of storytelling, but like the alchemy, like what is the source of alchemy and why is it connecting both of these worlds so extensively? Like,
right. Okay.
And the main thing is that apparently something happens once every millennia where the best alchemist is like called upon to do something, but no one knows what it is. So it's clear that Ryza is being called upon, but they don't know what it is, and like she's having blackouts, and like niggas are taking over her body.
Oh
like,
shit!
So I'm like, you know what? I'm enjoying this way more than I did the first two games. It runs well. It has like running problems and things like that, but they already announced that they're going to be working on a big patch about it. But the thing that you like the most about Disgaea, I get it now, because I have made some equipment that I'm just not supposed to have. I'm just not supposed to have it. I've put 30 plus hours into that game between Friday and now. So it's just,
I'm not even playing. You gotta break the fucking game.
I'm not even playing the game anymore. I'm collecting materials to make super weapons for everyone. Nice. And then I'm gonna go play the rest of the game. Because then I'll just start killing shit like nonstop. And I'm playing on hard mode, and it was giving me a decent challenge at a certain point. Like it got to one point where I fought the most recent boss, and that bitch was two-tapping my niggas, and I was like,
"Oh damn!" Yeah, when that happens, it's like I'm getting gear checked.
Back.
I'm getting gear checked right now.
I'm getting gear checked, but when I come back, I'm gonna wreck your ass. Like I'm gonna fuck you up. So that's where I'm at right now, where I'm like, all right, I'll be back. And now that I've gotten to the level of alchemy where the quality like this, and then I found out like what items make gem duplication, and then there's like, so they're like super traits. So what you do is you find the super trait, which is like ultra purity gems, which means when you purify that item, it gives you more gems. So that means if you duplicate that item, then you're not spending all those gems. So you just duplicate, meld it, duplicate, meld, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so eventually I have 9,999 blah 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 gems, and I can just do whatever the fuck I want, which is what I.
That sounds very Monster Hunter-ish.
Oh man, I just
I'm so ready for Sunrise on
yeah, I think that's what's stopping me from playing it right now. Like I got to HR 5, and I want to keep going, but I'm kind of just like, I would keep going if I could just get to Sunbreak. Like I just want to.
Do you want to know what my hunter rank?
Oh my god, have you been no-lifing that shit? Are you in the hundreds?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Kia's in the hundreds, so like.
I'm saying I did this on a fresh account in like a week and a half.
Oh. Okay. Well, did you get your homeboy to play?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying though, this is it's a problem. Monster Hunter's a problem.
I mean, after that Zelda video that came out yesterday, that's gonna be a problem for me.
I can tell. I don't like the weapon breaks. I'm sorry. Like,
but the new stuff makes it better. Did you see it? Yeah. So
all I heard was that weapon break was coming back. I'm like, well, fuck that.
Weapon break's coming back, but you can fuse weapons with like shit.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, so when I like the weapon system.
So when your weapon is about to break, you can fuse it with something, and it like replenishes like the whole break thing, and it's like a new weapon.
I get it. I get it. That's better. That is,
and you can do it with like they showed the thing. You can fuse like a smoke mushroom on your shield, and so when the monster hits your shield, the smoke mushroom blows up.
That's cool. No, that's really cool.
And that was just like one thing, and we don't even know all the new items that they put in the fucking thing. But yeah, you don't have to buy bomb arrows anymore. You can just connect one of the like the ChuChu elemental ChuChus. you can fuse that with an arrow and just shoot that shit. You don't have to buy ice arrows, bomb arrows.
Okay,
shit like
all right.
Like no, they showed some nice shit in that. I was
I'm not mad about that.
Because when I saw they started it off with like the weapon shit, and they were like, "Look, the twig is about to break," and I was like, "Yeah, that's what niggas don't like." And then he fused the twig with a big ass boulder. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't even beat the first one yet. I don't care.
All I know in the first one is that you can go to the end game right away from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're tenacious enough,
the speed runs are like crazy, aren't they?
Yeah,
how long are they? I mean,
they can be really. It's
minutes?
really more walking than it is anything else.
Yeah, because I think. Wait, do you just need the glider, or can you get off before the glider?
I think you just need the glider.
Yeah, then you just go to Ganon. Yeah. Well,
what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so that is it for this week, y'all. So when we come back, there are already gonna be fucking episodes. Because we don't have, there's no break. There's just no fucking break. And there will be Hell's Paradise. So you watch Hell's Paradise because we will for sure be covering that without a fail every week. Like, watch that.
I'm so into it that I actually know exactly what scene the first episode is going to end on. I know exactly where they are going to end. Because if you read the manga, you know there's a scene that you have to... If you're going to sell anybody on this series, the first episode has got to end on this scene. So I'm just waiting for it. Well, otherwise, I'll be complaining that the director doesn't know what they're doing.
Well, we're going to see in what? 24, 48, hours? A little bit over 48 hours. Yeah. We about to fucking see. But yeah, if you haven't already, I would say follow us on TikTok, but I don't really know what's going on with that, or if it's gonna still be around. We'll see if TikTok
exists in a couple of weeks.
But you guys are all over the Instagram video. Thank you for that. Go follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, anime_savants, and you can also follow us on YouTube because you can like watch the like facial things. But you can also follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you're listening. Follow us there and rate us wherever you can. Thumbs up, 5 stars, 5 rating, etc., etc.
Thank you very much. Yep, you can hit me up on Twitter at Neural Handshake. And also, I try to do a little better job responding on the main Anime Savants account as well in the replies. But we appreciate the interaction and see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace out.